Why did the American people vote for Donald Trump? Now, for me, it's a case of stupid is as stupid does. And yes, I may offend some American citizens. Over 75 million of them who voted for Donald Trump. It's actually way over that now. I just find it unbelievable that somebody who's tasted sour wants to have sour. And I'm not talking about sour sweets, no. I'm talking about really sour. Like, I don't know, something, or bitter even, like airwax and that, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, self-harming. Why would you do it? Because that's exactly what this election is. It's self-harming. Anyway, I hear people with their like button and prepared to be offended. Yes, stupid is as stupid does. And unfortunately, it appears that a large proportion of the American people, sadly, didn't think this through. If they feel that their chances in life are going to improve under Donald Trump, they are very, very mistaken. Now, what people need to understand and realise is when you have a new government, decisions that they make don't happen straight away. Now, like for instance with Biden, what have you, he got criticised over Afghanistan because pretty much it got handed over to the Taliban. But the American people seem to forget that it was Donald Trump, Diaper Don, who pretty much handed it to the Taliban. And Donald Trump's got precedents for that. He pretty much did the same thing in Syria. Handed it to the president of Syria. Forgot his name already, crikey. Is that what's going to happen with Ukraine? Is Donald Trump going to try and negotiate a special deal within 24 hours, as he promised, in Ukraine? Is that going to happen? And that special deal will be, oh, well, we are going to stop supplying Ukraine with weapons to defend themselves, giving Vladimir Putin carte blanche to do whatever he wants. And will that rub off in the UK? I don't know. I don't think so, because I would hope that the British people and Europeans in general will say, no, we're not following Donald Trump. And we might criticise David Lammy for the words he said about Donald Trump, but he was right. It's true. Donald Trump, he's a convicted felon, a rapist. And the American people just blindly brushed that to one side. Now, when you look at the stats, the kind of people who, well, not the stats, the poll, the people who actually voted by gender and what have you, but also by age and race. Hispanics, for instance, voting for Donald Trump. Yes, I understand. Your lives are tough at the moment. I get that. Same in the UK and anywhere else in the world. You know, we're all struggling at the moment. But we're pretty much dipping in the same pot. We're putting our toe in the same pool of water. And the economy around the world is struggling. It's having a hard time. So it's understandable that the American people think, hang on, who do we blame? The incumbent, the government. Now, the actual economy in the US is actually doing really well. But that doesn't account for inflation. You have to understand that, yes, inflation's down, but everything that went up in price during the inflation stays up until you get a negative inflation, which will bring the prices down. And then you get onto the promises. Donald Trump's promises. He's got a mandate. He's won both houses. Well, at least he will do. He's going to be able to do everything that he wants to do. no one's going to be able to stop them. Now, Donald Trump, he pretty much said it, that this was going to be the last election. He said, you will not have to vote again. That's what he said. You will not have to vote again. The only way you're not going to have to vote again is if you're just going to do away with, well, I suppose the Constitution for the start. And do away with, well, the whole voting process. The college vote, any vote. In fact, we'll just have a dictator for life in the United States. It'll be Xi Jinping. President Xi of China. Look what he did a few years back. Passed a law that made him a president for life. Obviously, Donald Trump likes that idea. Okay, it's not going to be a very long life, but he will hand it down to whoever he wants to hand it down to. And they will become the president for life. Will it be Barron, for instance? Barron Trump, a little brat. Fascism. Now, I know that word is thrown about quite a bit and we should be careful how we use it. But everything that he's suggesting he's going to do is fascism. He's going to gather up the Mexicans and deport them. He calls them illegals. A major part of the US economy. Now, economists have already said the major risk with a Donald Trump presidency is the, gathering up these Mexicans and sending them somewhere else. Don't know how he's going to do it. What's he going to do? Push them all through the border? Maybe. More chance of that than you have saying a flight to Rwanda. It's astounding. But how do we get here? American people want something better. But I think there's more than that. Now, another popular YouTuber, different bias, whatever, he was saying that, well, I just saw a bit of it anyway, I don't generally watch him, but he was saying that it's all about follow the money and, you know, people think with their wallets and stuff like that. Some people might be. But you don't vote for somebody like Donald Trump because you think with your wallet. It's a cult. Plain and simple, it's a cult. And the people, over 75 million of them, have been duped. Just like those in the United Kingdom in 2016 who voted to leave the European Union because it was a cult. It was an idea that was propagated by the likes of Nigel Farage for a good many years and then picked up by Boris Johnson with his big bright red bus. Where's that left the UK? Economically, buggered. And no, Brexit isn't done. No matter what people might tell you. Brexit is only really just starting. There's so many elements of the Brexit. From the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the Windsor Framework, Northern Ireland, have not even been either implemented or started yet. Such as the General Product Safety Regulations, etc. That's going to be quite bad for Northern Ireland. And for England. Small businesses, what have you, want to export to Northern Ireland. They're going to struggle even more. It's going to get tougher. But who am I to say, you know? I'm just a woodworker. But to me, it's just logic. It's not a case of, you know, even looking at the figures, it's just, this is what's going to happen because that's what always happens. And if you look at history, it's the same old thing, isn't it? You know? Donald Trump's policies, such as the tariffs, the expulsion of so-called illegals out of the United States, is going to hit the economy bad. It's going to drive inflation, and I think we're going to be seeing the worst inflation. Well, actually, no, this particular economist, I can't remember his name, but it will be difficult to find. he is literally saying, with all his little graphs and little bar graphs and stuff, that the economy is going to take a very harsh hit and it's going to be the worst recession, or worse than we saw back in the financial crash. And I believe that. You cannot disrupt a finely tuned machine that might have a few broken teeth on its cogs at the moment. You can't disrupt an economy by shocking it. It doesn't work. We saw that with Trussonomics, when Liz Truss was the Prime Minister of the UK for a few days. It doesn't work. Actually, do I look like Liz Truss with hat on? Now, when I look at this, I just find this so sad. The amount of black people who voted for Donald Trump, it was unbelievable. But did you realise that more women voted for Harris? Now, don't get me wrong, the neoliberalism and all that is a broken model. It doesn't work, and there's too much greed within neoliberalism. But there again, so there is in the Donald Trump cult. It's not the Republican Party anymore. It's the Trump Party. It's all about Donald Trump, infatuation with Donald Trump. And I don't care what anyone say, whether it be for good or for ill, people are just drawn into Donald Trump. He is a very fascinating person, but for the wrong reasons. The shock of it all. Just through the pandemic, you know. He didn't want to sign those checks until his name was put on them. He wouldn't sign the checks to help American citizens just manage to get by. They were pretty much left in the dark. They just left to defend for themselves. The social system in the United States is extremely broken. In fact, it was never there in the first place to be broken. Now, we have our problems in the United Kingdom. At least there is some form of safety net. Even under the Tory party, there was some form of safety net. They didn't catch everybody. But it wasn't necessarily a case of life and death, whether or not you can actually afford your health insurance or buy your medication or whatever you need to do. No, it was like, you had that. You were protected in many ways. The best that they could. A lot of people died, and Boris Johnson cocked that up big time. And Matt Hancock putting in, sending back old people back into the nursing homes without testing them, you know, that kind of thing. The so-called bubble. They're going to put a force field around them or something stupid, he said. But the sort of things that Donald Trump would say. Alongside, obviously, you know, put a mag light up your derriere to kill the COVID virus and drink some bleach while you're at it, you know, that kind of madness. And they're eating your children. Well, actually, no, they're eating the pets. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating your pets. And then Roxanne goes, well, it's not just the pets and the dogs. They're eating the children. They're drinking the blood of children. They're flesh-eating vampires, she says. Oh, for God's sake. When I made a video about that, what did I get in the comments? Constant madness. Agreeing with her. Oh, you criticise her, you're being horrible to Roxanne and what have you, and yeah, and it's true. Oh, crikey. It's just madness. And the American people got suckered into it because, I'm sorry, and I am going to offend, but over 75 million of the American people who think they're going to get something better with Donald Trump, well, they're going to get buyer's remorse. And they're voting for Donald Trump, not necessarily because they ain't got the money in their pocket, it's because they've been suckered in by him. And stupid is as stupid does. People who make that same mistake again and again, don't forget, we had Donald Trump before, and they sacked him before, didn't they? And then we got Biden. So they clearly weren't happy with Donald Trump, otherwise he would have been still the president, wouldn't he? You know? And when his neighbours come out walking the dog. So it's madness. The whole thing is absolute madness. Hello, Coco. Hiya, how you doing, all right?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, just making a video. So it's just absolutely crazy why anyone would vote for somebody like that. But then again, we had this back in 2016 in the UK with Brexit and Boris Johnson voting for people because of their character, not because they're competent. You can, if you're competent and got a good character, well then that'd be fine. But these people haven't. They're not competent. They've got no competency. It's all about them, about how they can push themselves forward, promote themselves, improve their their lives in the form of shitloads of bloody money, And then we've got Elon Musk in the mix. Another form of cognitive dissonance. They look at Elon Musk and they look at the rockets. They look at the Tesla cars. They look at all this stuff, apart from common sense. Let's think of Starlink. Oh, he built this, he built that. He managed to capture the rocket in a hoop or something, with chopsticks. But he didn't do that. These people are deluded if they think all this stuff was achieved by Elon Musk, because it wasn't. Elon Musk did not achieve that. It's the people he's got around him. And if he put the right people around him, well, that's okay. Maybe that was a genius move. But all these achievements were not achieved by Elon Musk. They just weren't. And when I get in the comments of my videos, when I'm being derogatory towards Elon Musk, well, he's launched all these rockets. How many rockets did he launch in so? He's done like 200 or something. That kind of mentality. And when I had my live stream last night about this subject, people were saying to me in the chat before they got hidden or putting time out because they're talking absolute bollocks. It's the same old stuff. It was just no context, no one's telling me. Can answer? No, try and answer this one. What is Donald Trump going to do to make your lives better? Because everything he suggested so far is actually going to make your lives tougher. I know I've got light behind my head, but I don't want to stress my neighbour out because she has problems. So anyway, if you want like being in the video, even I can see her in the background, and little Coco. Oh, I don't know. I'm finding it really hard, really, that there are that many people who are suffering with this cognitive dissonance and this. Well, no, it's more Dunning-Kruger effect, I suppose. It's tribalism. It's a cult. This is the cult of Donald Trump and those who follow him. I just find it amazing that people who quite frankly have no idea how to manage their own, bank balance and all that, how much money they've got and that, These people are allowed to vote. It's just crazy. Total madness, if you ask me. Oh, I'll go on about this. I've probably gone on too long, haven't I? Oh, anyway, if you want to support the channel, you do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the link's down below. I just find this absolutely devastating because this is going to affect everybody. What happens in the United States happens everywhere. It just got too much power in the United States, and we're too entwined with them. And it's painful. And we're all going to be hit. If the United States ends up in a recession, they'll trigger another world recession, and it's going to hit the EU, it's going to hit the UK, it's going to hit everywhere. I hope I'm wrong, obviously. And I eat my hat, not this one, so I like this hat. There's too much roughage in this one. And I don't know. It saddens me that people are that stupid. That there's that many stupid people in the world. We've got our problems here in the EU, rise of the right and what have you. Got our problems in the United Kingdom, Nigel Farage and the Reform Party. These people, these demigods, are not going to make your lives any better. These religious nuts are not going to make your lives any better. Donald Trump isn't even religious, to be honest. He's just playing a game. But they're not. You might not like it, and you might not like Harris, you might not like the Democrats, you might think, crikey, the Democrats have made my lives harder. It's a situation that we're all in around the world, not just the United States. Because we've got a world economy, and we've got too much dependency on China, for instance. Obviously, we've got what's going on in Ukraine and Gaza. All this stuff is causing us problems. Now, some people say, oh, crikey, oh, they're funding genocide and stuff like that. Well, you could argue that. I'm no lover of what's going on over there and how taxpayers' money has been spent on weapons to kill innocents. I'm not happy about that at all, obviously not. But that's not the main reason why the American people have voted to put Donald Trump in place. Because Donald Trump's not going to do anything for the people of the United States. Donald Trump is going to improve his own chances. For a start, he's going to make sure he doesn't go to jail. He can't. If you read the Constitution, somebody pointed this out to me yesterday, so I had a look, and he's right. And it's basically the Constitution that states that to pardon somebody else. He can't pardon himself. To pardon somebody else. He had a chance to be pardoned if he handed it over last time to Mike Pence, but he decided to try and get him hung. Oh yeah, you forgot about that as well? That was a slim, short memory. He incited that riot. That's the whole thing. So people got to have short memories, or that's just I don't know, maybe it's the definition of this cult. It's people are just taken in by it all, and they're blinded to all the facts. There's no logic involved. They haven't thought it through. And it is stupidity. I'm not going to say idiots, but there's stupidity. Definitely, certainly, some of them are, but it certainly is, like I say, stupidity. Stupid is, stupid does. You keep making the same blinking mistakes again and again and again, and quite frankly, you deserve what you're going to get. But everyone's going to suffer with it. Everyone around the world. If the US's economy is not, strong, we all will suffer, whether you like it or not. We're very dependent on the US and China and what have you. The United States is very dependent on China, and it's going to put all these tariffs and what have you on China, 60 to 100%. Well, not be funny, that'll be you paying for that 60 to 100% if you want to buy something that's made in China. The US doesn't make everything, and anything the US makes, a lot of the components that come from China. It's just nuts. Going to put around 10 to 20% on the UK and the European Union. It's going to be the American people that have to foot that bill. It just is. Whether you like it or not, it's the American people will have to foot the bill. Madness. It's deluded, in fact, deluded. I'm not saying that the Democrats are great, because they're not. It's all about the least worst option. And you got the worst option because you voted for them. And those who vote for an idiot are well represented, said Gandhi. So I'm sorry if I've offended anybody, but I can only say it as I say it. And that's what I see. A majority of people in the United States have voted against their own best interests. And we all will have to suffer the consequences of it. And that sounds all very dark and what have you, but it's just fact. Just fact. Anyway, what say you after a rather depressing video? please leave it in the comments down below, because I do read the comments, but you probably already know. And we're doing rewilding here in France, so if you want to take part of that, there's a GoFundMe link down below. You can basically buy a tree, and I'll put a sign in with the tree. You remember a loved one, what have you, or your pet, you know. And if you want to leave silly comments because you're a MAGA, you know, that's up to you. Toodaloo. I forgot to press the button.